Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So, first off, I want to start with this tweet from MacAttack XRP on Twitter. He is discussing the new stablecoin that is launching on the XRP Ledger. I'm sure that you guys are probably all aware of this by now. If you guys aren't, then we are going to be breaking this down a little bit more. But first, I want to mention the fact that we have recently seen the XRP Ledger being touted as probably one of the best ledgers out there for stablecoin issuance. And no, this is not going hand in hand with competition with HBAR or Hedera, if you will, or any other one. All we are talking about is that we have been seeing a lot of stablecoins and a lot of even CBDCs being issued out on the XRP Ledger in the last over like a year and a half or so. And I think that this is substantial to focus on. I think that this should be an area that everyone is watching unfold at a rapid pace. It also proves to you guys why the XRP Ledger will be utilized for a lot more issuance going forward around stablecoins and even CBDCs. Now, to break this down, Wrath of Kahneman actually did break this fully down in a few tweets here. First, we start off with Seattle-based Web3 payment infrastructure provider Stably announced their stablecoin, Stably USD USDS, will be issued out on the XRP Ledger. The XRP Ledger, the 10-year-old blockchain best suited for enabling, enablement of settlement and liquidity of tokenized assets at scale. USDS will open up a fiat ramp connected directly to end users' bank accounts. It can onboard individuals and businesses from 200 plus countries and enable mint/redeem USDS on the XRP Ledger utilizing traditional payment methods such as bank transfers and credit/debit cards. And then we do see down here from the CEO of Stably, we are very excited to partner with Ripple and support our fiat to stablecoin gateway to the XRP Ledger via USDS. And then we do see down here like Play Card Partners is on the website, as well as many other ones as well. I mean, you do see like all of the other players here, which you love to see. And then down here, we do see the announcement from Stably themselves. Now, a few things that I do want to talk about here is the on-ramps. Fiat on-ramps in general, or even just like ramps in, from like the main area of retail, is key for a lot of adoption. We've actually just recently discussed this with Stellar, aka XLM, where we're talking about on and off ramps quite a bit. I think that they are, key for a lot more adoption of these networks, but also it does open the opportunity for a lot more use case potential around the retail sector itself. But I also think that this provides you an insight on why the XRP Ledger is very substantial in this area. Settlement, liquidity, etc. is a focus point here because it also shows you the potential of XRP as a currency within that sector. It also gives you a little bit more of a utility aspect around it as well, which kind of goes hand in hand with the SEC's argument point around like utility, which again, they kind of backpedaled and said utility doesn't matter. But I thought this was very interesting because it really kind of gives you an insight on settlement and liquidity, and it also shows you where XRP is positioned within the XRP Ledger itself, which is essentially the power source behind the DLT. Also, we did see another development around Ripple, and that was Web3 development in Japan with their new partnership. Again, this one is probably one that you guys have heard about already. It is about 2 days old. The reason why I'm bringing this up is just kind of showing you guys the growth and the overall announcements that we have seen in just the last couple of days alone in September. To me, I think that this month is going to be very substantial for Ripple and the XRP community. XLS20 is possibly going live, which we've talked about a little bit on my NFT channel. I do think that that is probably one of the biggest areas to focus on. But when we actually look at this announcement, we do see down here like Ripple will help to promote BTrax's new service in Japan and the Asia Pacific region. We do see down here, as a part of the collaboration, they will be building a Web3 design lab that is centered around the XRP Ledger. The new service is supposed to assist Japan-based companies in speeding up their Web3 business development. Remember what I did say to you guys about the Web3 area. It is projected to be a $140 trillion market, going off of the base point of the Web 1 to Web 2 innovation. And I think that this is going to be something special. I think that Web3 itself is very large. in regards to the projected returns on it, but also the projected adoption of Web3. I think that this is the future. I think that this is going to be something to really kind of watch for. And also, Ripple has long been a fixture in the Japanese market. Last year, it partnered with SBI Remit, the largest money transfer provider in the country, to improve money cross-border payments to the Philippines. As reported by U.Today, Ripple considered moving into, its global headquarters to Japan before deciding to stay in San Francisco. And I think that when we look at the substantial areas that Ripple has been positioned in, Japan has been one that they have made a ton of noise in. But I think that it's very exciting to see a lot more adoption as well as demand for the XRP Ledger growing and growing and growing. And I do think that the Web3 area has always been a focus point, specifically even on this channel, but also from major players like Ripple. And also, talking about Wrath of Kahneman as well, he does lay out this sort of comparison of Swift to Ripple. He's saying, interesting how Swift PR messaging seems to converge with Ripple's. Here they introduced new machine learning that predicts payment flows and throw in tokenization CBDCs, low value payments, and also interoperability to boot. Sorry about that. Suppose it's to be expected. Compared to Ripple Insight from 2020, I would assume their machine learning for payment flows is implemented by now. Also, the Swift option above does read a little like a credit check. One last observation, kind of funny that in the last year, Ripple has said they are moving back into corporate treasury movements, and Swift has said they are moving into low value payments. To me, is Swift essentially going to be utilizing Ripple at some point in time? We've actually addressed this. I think that it would be beneficial for Swift to have that plug and play option with RippleNet with XRP, simply because it opens the doors for Swift to not only scale massively, but it also opens the door for Swift to have instantaneous settlement. Remember, Swift GPI does have rapid payments, but without rapid settlement, it is nothing. There's no big, innovation there. So to me, I am really kind of more so centering my focus on, at some point in time, Swift working with Ripple. And from David Schwartz, he even said that's their end goal, is to have Swift basically utilizing RippleNet with XRP. And it would provide those 11,000 financial institutions that are signed up with Swift that are utilizing it on a day-to-day basis to not only hoard amounts of XRP, but to be transacting in XRP on a day-to-day basis, trillions on top of trillions of dollars worth of value, which this has been always the focus point. But also, we have this video. It is about 1 minute and 39 seconds. This is from Crypto Airy. Shout out to her. Only 832 views on this Coin Agenda upload. Ripple was in position that I compared to Amazon circa 1997. Amazon in those days was Amazon Books. Today, obviously, it does a lot of things. I think Ripple, our first vertical, Books is to cross-border payments for Ripple. And I even said, love to see it. Incredible work, Ari. But listen closely to this. I'm going to turn this up a little bit and just listen in. It's 1 minute and 39 seconds.
So first of all, I appreciate you asking the question that way. A lot of people still conflate Ripple and XRP. Ripple is a company of which I'm the CEO. XRP is an open source technology that lots of people participate in. Ripple cares a lot about the XRP ecosystem, but there are a lot of people that do. Ripple, the way I would describe it is simply, we are the leading enterprise blockchain company, period, full stop. My viewpoint is there are lots of use cases for blockchain technologies in the enterprise. Knowing how to sell into, knowing how to engage from a customer success point of view and get enterprises using blockchain technologies to improve the efficiency of lots of different kinds of transactions. We're just at the beginning of that journey. Ripple started with cross-border payments and selling into financial institutions. We now have hundreds of financial institutions. We've done millions and millions of transactions, billions and billions of dollars. But I do view it as an enterprise blockchain company as opposed to just payments. I was talking with a gentleman named Jose back here in the back about the ecosystem that Ripple's really creating around other enterprise use cases. And there's a lot going on. And I think Ripple is in a position that I compare to Amazon circa 1997, where Amazon at those ages, which you and I will remember, it wasn't Amazon, it was Amazon Books. The name of the company was Amazon Books. and it competed with Borders and Barnes and Noble. Today, obviously, it does lots of things. I think of Ripple, our first vertical. The books is to cross-border payments for Ripple.
And sorry about the video skipping there for a little bit, but I love the fact that he does mention Amazon, essentially Amazon Books, if you will, competing with Barnes and Noble. Because the way that I actually look at this is it's almost like Ripple is competing with Swift from the personal view of anyone that is looking at this from a broad's eye view. But the problem here is that they are not trying to compete at all. You know, at the end of the day, I do think that a lot of these major financial institutional hubs, aka Swift Network, for an example, will be turning to Ripple at the end of the day. You know, Amazon has quickly taken over. Amazon has quickly become a household name, a blue chip stock, if you will. And they didn't get there in, a day. It took quite a bit of time. I think it's the same way that we kind of look at this market as well. Like, he's talking about, Amazon during the 1997 area. This could pinpoint to a few things. One, it could pinpoint technically to regulatory stance around crypto, aka the dot-com bubble bursting. You will have major players that do come from that area. It would probably be about like 1% of this market. But then he could also just mention the fact that like Ripple is still very early in on what they are focused on as well. To me, when I think of Ripple and when I think of XRP, I always think of cross-border payments. I don't really think of, stablecoin issuance, CBDC issuance, the metaverse, NFTs, things like that. But those are areas of still a focus still from Ripple, and I do believe that we will see them moving in on those areas by the end of the year. If not, we already kind of have seen them moving in on that area as well. But I think that we should be looking at Ripple in a little bit of a different light. I think that mostly everyone really kind of equates Ripple to being like the new Swift. They don't need to be the new Swift. All they really need to do is be more efficient, which they already are. And also, Swift is missing the biggest key that Ripple already does hold, which is instant settlement. To me, it's not just going to be cross-border payments. There's going to be a lot more within this. But I would argue that when we actually look at what is happening within these markets, at some point in time, I would argue that Swift would have to be working with Ripple if they did want to hold their reputation of the market, aka still have those 11,000 plus signed up with Swift. But we have seen a lot of those banking clients that are associated with Swift kind of disbanding from Swift and moving towards other payment mechanisms and networks. And it did kind of start with sanctions. We don't know specifically what will happen. We've heard the MasterCard CEOs and higher up saying Swift will cease to exist within the next 5 years. I would argue that that is the truth if they don't adopting crypto technology. It's kind of the same around banks too. We've been talking about banks kind of disbanding and failing simply because of their lack of innovation within the crypto sector. I think that this is a very interesting topic that not a lot of people really bring up quite a bit. To me, I think that this current financial infrastructure, this monetary system, is on a trajectory to failure. I think that this system will fail without innovation within the digitization aspect. And although a lot of individuals cease to, miss this and not look at the facts, we will have a digitized system that is centered on tokenization, on CBDCs, on instantaneous, payments, on interoperability. So to me, this has always been the focus point. This has always been the area to look at and study quite a bit, specifically around Ripple. They're not here to, become the next, major, Swift or anything like that. They don't need to be because they are already innovating further beyond any other company out there. I would argue that they are the Amazon of, crypto at this current moment in time. I would argue that they will become a household name. They will be a blue chip stock if they do get to the IPO area. I think that Ripple is a great company, but I think that everyone that is looking at Ripple and all the connections to Ripple also cease to exist or cease to see what exists out there around XRP. And what exists out there around XRP is the adoption of XRP in regards to on-demand liquidity corridors, which is innovating further within the cross-border payment sector. The XRP Ledger adoption as well, which has been growing rapidly. I mean, it's absolutely insane, what we have been seeing lately around the adoption cycle curve of crypto. Although we are in a bear market, and I do argue that it could, possibly get worse, but to me, I'm hedged either way. To me, we've seen so much in regards to not only innovation, but also adoption within the last couple months alone. So this is very special to me. And I will continue to watch a lot of these areas, specifically around the Swift, area, cross-border payments and stuff like that. But also, the XRP Ledger is heating up. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day. Before you guys are on this beautiful world, it's been Nick. Peace out, guys.